the NFC South 2025 preview. The only team that I think even has a chance at winning a playoff game in the AFC South is the Texans. I mean, it, the Colts have a great roster. They just don't have someone who is not Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson. Um, but if Daniel Jones plays similar to how he did in 2022 with the Giants, they're a playoff team. So I guess technically they have a chance too, but they have theirs is more of a hypothetical chance. Just because I mean Daniel Jones isn't good. Although he did work with Kevin O'Connell last year, who's kind of become, I feel like, the new Sean McVay for. Oh, this guy was on the roster for Kevin O'Connell's team. He's got to be good. Love the rest of the roster. Jonathan Taylor, I think, is still a good running back. I like Pittman, Pierce. I'm a big Tyler Warren guy, a big Mo Alley Cox guy. I think their offensive line is going to be very good. I think Zaire Franklin might be the most underrated defensive player in the league. Man, I like the Xavier Howard signing, him being a captain now. I love that at corner for them. But they don't have a quarterback. I like Leto off the edge. I like um, Buckner. I This is a Super Bowl caliber team as long as quarterback wasn't in a position in sports. Fortunately for them, need a quarterback. For the Texans, I hate that I like CJ Stroud. He's going to have a bounce back year. I love the guys from Iowa State, two rookies they got. Nico Collins, I think, really broke out a few years ago and has become a much better player than I thought he was going to be. I thought that he was probably a guy who's going to be like a 3 or 4 receiver, and he's top 10 receiver, I think, in the NFL. That may just be my biases against Ohio State and Michigan for Stroud and Nico Collins. Um, I have no idea what they're doing with the running back room. They just have a bunch of guys who are older, have had injury issues for the most part. I don't know. So they need something there, but I do think that the wide receiver group and Dalton Schultz, CJ Stroud are they're good enough. I think the offensive line is going to be a lot better this year. I think that they part of CJ Stroud's big step back last year was I didn't think the offensive line was as good. So I'm I'm high on them having a much better year offensively than they did last year. But where I am excited about the Texans is this is I think a top three defense for sure, maybe number one. Will Anderson is going to have 15 plus sacks this year, maybe get to 20. I don't. I think it helps, especially being in a division that frankly lacks talent. Um, and He is one of the premier edge rushers, especially when you bring in Danielle Hunter, who's also a premier pass rusher. Still, that just creates so much. Love their corners. I think that they had the best cornerback tandem in the league by far. And Lasser and Derek Stingley. I mean, I remember. I'm old enough to remember when people criticized the Derek Stingley pick, especially with Sauce Gardner being the pick after him, because Stingley was not good his rookie year, and Sauce Gardner, defense rookie of the year, I believe. And he had the talent at LSU. That was never the question, but he only produced really as a freshman on the national championship team. And I wasn't sure that, I'm sure a lot of people were doubting that pick, but that ended up being an unbelievable move. Just as Texas, drafted CJ Stroud, and then shocked the hell out of everyone when they traded up to 3 to get Will Anderson. They are they're a very, very, very good team. They got a head coach who lives and dies with the Houston Texans, one of their all-time best players, a guy who is a defensive leader as a player, tough player, has the quality as a player that I think he instills into his players and lets them buy in. I think they've been built very well. At the end of the Bill O'Brien era, I'm a big Billy O guy. Love me some Billy O. They they really fell apart, and the quickness to turn everything around really very impressive, especially for a team that is the newest team in the NFL. And really, until Bill O'Brien didn't have too much success, they had a couple playoff appearances with Matt Schaub. Um, Also had a few pick sixes with Matt Schaub, but man, I love this team. I think they could win a Super Bowl, just not sure this year. But they definitely do have the roster. I love the CJ Gardner Johnson addition to on the back end of that defense. Man, they're good. I wouldn't be surprised if they get the first round bye. I wouldn't. I think they are a better team than the Bills this year. I think the only roster I think that has more talent in the AFC is the Baltimore Ravens. And then I think there is a fairly large drop off. Um, Going from a team with that much talent to a team with who the hell are these guys for the most part? And the Tennessee Titans, Cam Ward, obviously, number one pick. Very good at Washington State and Miami. I loved watching him play in college. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback. I don't think that he's going to be in a position to win anytime soon, especially after what went down with Variable and how he wanted control because the GM Robinson wasn't good. Then they fire him, bring in someone else, and then they fire Rabel or Vrabel. Um, and really huge downgrade at the coach. I mean, I just did not like the Callahan hire at all when that happened. That I think Mike Vrabel is a coach who could win a Super Bowl. I do not think that Brian Callahan is. Don't know why. Just probably just because nobody expected the Vrabel firing, and me included in that. For the defense, I do like Simmons. I do like Tony Pollard on the offense too. Explosive. Um, Calvin Ridley when healthy. Okay, this is the Titans. Pretty sure they only got 4 players, and then 49 guys. Like, what the hell are they doing here? Plus, the guy on the sideline. What the hell is he doing here? The Jacksonville Jaguars, I am very curious about for one reason, and that is the Liam Cohen introduction. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is excellent receiver. I think he is a borderline top 10 receiver. He is a true bona fide number one. The problem I have is Trevor Lawrence he's shown flashes. His inconsistency is very frustrating, I'm sure, for Jaguars fans because some of the throws he can make, his athleticism. He is a creative player in Madden in terms of just overall athletic ability. When he's at his best, his accuracy, his arm strength, everything, he has it. But it's almost like he has it only once every 4 weeks. And yes, he had that big playoff comeback over the Chargers a few years ago, but that was, I mean, we all know that was a Chargers charging thing. And defense, they have some pieces. I like Josh Hines out, and I like Trevon Walker. I like the linebacker they got. Really blanking on names today. Devin Lloyd, I think. Um, I do like Tank Bigsby just because his name's Tank Bigsby. How the hell do you not like a guy named Tank Bigsby? I just think that if Trevor Lawrence figures out a way to be consistent all year, then I think they're a borderline playoff team that really only in play for the 7th seed. Could they potentially in a few years be contenders? Don't know. The only guy who does know that is number 16 on the Jaguars. He's the dude with the long hair. So if you see him, ask him. Um, anyways, feel like I don't think there's too many interesting teams really across the league this year. I think A lot of bad teams, some good teams, some great teams, and then the middle is not there. Well, like, subscribe, talk some shit in the comments.